JDev is back at it here to give everyone another Walking Dead Season 4 episode review video. Before I get to that, though, it's extremely important if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Walking Dead 2, make sure that you pay attention to the episode title. I'll put that in the description for you. If that's the case and it happens to be the fact that you haven't watched the episode, I suggest that you don't watch any further, because then you would get spoiled. This will be The Walking Dead Season 4, episode number 15. The title of this episode is called Us. This will be my review, reaction, recap of the episode. Remember, I've seen it a few times, just reviewing it for the channel to have every Walking Dead episode on here, and reviewing it due to the fact that they announced Season 11 of The Walking Dead will be the conclusion of the main Walking Dead show. However, The Walking Dead story will continue through other shows, and I presume the Rick movies might be the end of the main Walking Dead storyline. We shall see. So, Glenn, Tara, Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene follow railroad tracks and come across yet another sign pointing the way towards Terminus. And Glenn discovers another note left by Maggie to him, telling him to travel to Terminus. Duh. They continue on, passing a small town where Eugene is almost hit by a falling Walker corpse falling from a rooftop before Abraham pushes him out of the way. The incident, though, does cause Tara to injure her foot just a tad, but she says she can keep going. Abraham urges it is too dangerous to cover for Eugene, but Glenn allows them to use his riot suit to help protect Eugene, which was nice, because Eugene does need some protection. He's kind of a weak fighter. But Glenn, if Abraham will continue on with them, and he does, Abraham agrees, and they find a usable vehicle with some supplies to continue. They come to a train tunnel, and Glenn sees another note from Maggie. He insists they need to go through the tunnel, but Abraham will not risk Eugene's life, as there sounds like a lot of walkers in there and from within it, and decides it's time to part ways. But Abraham does provide Glenn and Tara with some supplies, some food, and some flashlights. And he didn't have to do that, but he did, because Abraham's a good guy. And tells them to retreat to the road if they get stuck before they drive off. And then in the tunnel, Tara apologizes to Glenn. I don't know why. She doesn't have anything to apologize for. Believing her actions and trusting the governor led to the death of many of Glenn's friends, including Herschel, Maggie's father. Glenn, of course, accepts the apology, but then they are suddenly set on by walkers. There's a lot of walkers in there. Tara's injury slows them down, and they appear trapped when suddenly Maggie, Sasha, and Bob appear from the opposite end of the tunnel, along with Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene, and they clear out the walkers to allow Glenn and Tara to escape. Glenn and Maggie have a tearful reunion. Great moment. And then proper introductions are made. Tara keeps quiet about her role in Maggie's father's death. She shouldn't really have to, because she didn't have anything to do with that. She was just trying to help out somebody that she thought she trusted, that her sister had trusted. But Glenn doesn't say anything about that when he introduces Tara to Maggie. He just says, I met her along the way. So that's interesting. And then we get a little bit of this. Elsewhere, Carl, Rick, and Michonne are following the train tracks as well towards Terminus. And Michonne and Carl are actually trying to balance on the tracks, or the rails, I should say, not the tracks. And they're having a game out of it. It's a competition, and Carl actually wins. So Michonne has to give Carl a candy bar that she has, and Carl picks the one that Michonne likes the best. So Michonne's upset about that, but regardless, she gives it to him. And then Carl, being the nice guy that he is, says, hey, you want to split this? And they do, and then they throw the wrapper on the ground. And then Daryl has been forced to travel with the Claimers, led by Joe. Daryl does get into a confrontation with Len over a claim on who shot and thus owns a rabbit. And Joe informs Daryl of the rules and then splits the rabbit meat between them. That night, when they rest, Len sneaks his half of the rabbit into Daryl's bag, and the next morning says that Daryl took it. Joe, however, reports he saw Len frame Daryl and drags him away to beat him up, and the other guys beat him up. Joe returns alone and instructs the others to pack up and move out. As they walk away, Daryl actually sees Len's dead body. I don't think he should have died because of that, with an arrow stuck through his head. And then they come across the train tracks the Claimers, and walk over the candy wrapper left behind by Rick's group. Rick's group littered. That's a definite ticket. And then we go back to the original thing of the episode. While Abraham insists that they continue to Washington, D.C., the collective group, including Eugene, agree they should finish the trip to Terminus as their friends may be there. And then they say that there'll be more strength in numbers. If Abraham can get more people to go with him on their mission to Washington, D.C., it'll be a better force, and Abraham agrees with that. So the merged group with Abraham, Rosita, Eugene, Glenn, Tara, Maggie, Sasha, Bob finally reach Terminus with some happy music, and they kind of walk through it. It's a secure train yard. They enter it with ease, actually, and then they get to a grill with a woman standing there. She's cooking meat, and she welcomes them, and her name is Mary, and she offers them some meat, and that's the end of the episode. So, decent episode. I think they could have done a lot more with it. I did like the Glenn stuff, and because there's a couple people in this episode that did a lot, I'm going to give the score of the episode an 8.7 out of 10. Again, I think they could have done a lot more with it, but obviously they're setting up for the finale of the season and the season premiere. And the character of the episode, I'm going to give it to Glenn because he was pretty awesome. Although I could have given it to Daryl, but I wanted to give it to Glenn. I could even give it to Abraham because Abraham's just awesome. So those are my thoughts, but really now it's time for your thoughts. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you like this episode and like the series in general and love the show, go ahead and smash that like button. If you don't smash the like button, then that means you don't like the show. So if you're watching or listening to this review, then I suggest that you smash the like button or not like button, just because. And then if you know anybody else that you think would be interested in listening or watching these videos, go ahead and share the video to them. Let them know that they can share it with anybody else that they want to share it with. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section. That's how I know you are a fan of this, and that's how I know that we can interact. You can tell me what your score of the episode was, your favorite moment of the episode, your favorite character of the episode. You can talk about your favorite episodes of The Walking Dead, your least favorite episodes, like Still, and then you can also tell me about your favorite and least favorite characters and best characters, whatever you want to talk about in the comment section. That's where you want to put it, and I'll respond to all comments because I don't really get that many, other than the one that I leave. And last, but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your support, and be a part of something special. And as many of you know, JDev will return.